Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokerage Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Onchauskas. Today is the 24th of July 2018. So welcome everyone to this afternoon session, this Tuesday's afternoon session, where we're gonna have a look at a few instruments that I've picked. I believe they're quite developing interestingly right now, so if we can say that way. But before we do that, of course, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, very quickly, before we jump into the charts, quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. So yeah, I believe you can find something useful here for yourself, guys. So feel free to check us out. But for now, let's have a look at the charts. So the first one I want to touch on is the S&P 500. Now, I was talking about this one in my previous videos a while ago, but nevertheless, I was talking about this area right here, this highlighted potential area of resistance. So we managed to break it. We managed to break it to the upside, and now we are seeing that the level here, the 2800, the psychological 2800, kind of acted as a very nice bouncing ground here, a very nice area of support. Initially was acting as nice resistance, but we broke it here on the 17th, and now it's acting as a very nice good area of support. So if this continues to push higher and we start taking out these highs that we had around the 2815 mark, well, this is opening the path towards this level that we were talking about. Well, I was talking about in my previous videos where I've touched on the S&P 500, the 2840 mark. Now this could be seen as a first initial good area, good potential area of resistance, and that was that acted as a nice area of resistance here on the 31st of January as well. So keep an eye on that one, guys. So 2840 could be seen as a nice target. So for example, if you even position yourselves here for a possible long trade, then you could probably start looking at the entry here at around the 2815 mark. And certainly aim higher here, but to be honest, the 2840 could be just a pit stop for this index, and we could maybe see this one traveling all the way higher here towards these all-time highs that we saw around the 26th of January. So good potential level, of course. For that, don't forget just to put a stop loss. Certainly that's very important. So something like this could be possible, initially of course aiming for this 2840 and then slightly above that. Now probably we could maybe fill up this gap here, and this is where the price could stall for a while, maybe for just a little bit. The 2850 mark could be a good one, but to be honest, if that gets broken, it is opening the path towards the all-time highs that we saw here in January, so on the 26th of January this year. So something like this could be possible. Keep an eye on it, guys. Certainly at this point it's looking quite bullish, and yep, we could play out a nice trade here. On the downside, well, we would need to see a nice reversal here back down below not only below the psychological 2800 but also below the 2790 mark. So that's a good potential area of support here, but if that gets broken, well, it is opening the path towards this 2770, sorry guys, 2770, and then below that we do have some better ones as well, but probably let's see what it wants to do with this area first. I mean, at this point in time, probably we could actually move higher here during the opening bell, where we could potentially start targeting the 2840 mark. Looking at one commodity which I really wanted to show you, and that's oil, but this time it's Brent. This morning I was talking about the WTI, but this time is now Brent, and we're seeing this nice resistance here below this upside upwards moving trend line here that has been running since around the 21st of June, and it kind of acts as a very nice area of resistance. We can see that the price kind of cannot really, well, it tried to move higher here, but cannot really close above that line. So at this, for now, we're just gonna monitor this area. But if this continues to get rejected like this, then a nice smooth clear break below the 72.50 could interest actually us from the selling side, because we could then aim for the 71.25. But if that doesn't hold, well, we do have a bunch of good levels here underneath that could get tested. But first, of course, we would need to see a nice close here, not only below the 72.50, but probably mainly below the 71.25 mark. So this could potentially confirm a further decline, initially aiming of course for this 200 EMA, and then but below that we do have a good level here to watch, the 66.95 level, so which has been seen here as the low of April, of the 6th of April. So yeah, keep an eye on that, guys. I mean, this could play out as a nice potential area of support, but like I said, I'll repeat myself, only if we get a nice break here below the 71.25. On the upside, we would need to see a nice reversal back up here, back above the of this upwards moving trend line. But not only a reversal, but a nice close as well could be good, and could be seen as a positive for this commodity. And this is where it could open the path towards this range here, towards this little area between the 75.85 and the 76.45. Now, this is the reason why I've got this arrow here, guys, because even if we're gonna get up here, certainly be careful, because it's still gonna be relatively weak, but we probably could maybe get held here by this 50 EMA, or even maybe the 21 EMA. So that's why probably a nice good break above this area could probably interest more bulls in jumping in and maybe driving this commodity a little bit higher here towards the 79.15 mark. I do apologize. So yeah, keep an eye on it, guys. Certainly keep an eye on these key levels that are good highlighted here. Let's see what Brent wants to do with them. Let's jump into a few pairs. And the first one I want to look at is GBPUSD. So GBPUSD is showing some strength here, especially today as well. So certainly after a nice move on Friday here, where it managed to close the week above this key area of support that I had highlighted here, and I was talking about throughout the a few weeks here. I was talking about this level here, the 130.50. So the pair managed to break through it, back up again, place itself back up, and close the last week above it. So now we're seeing this bullish formation here, where we could see maybe the pair kind of lifting itself higher and moving towards higher levels. So let me just put a 4-hour chart here, probably for a better, more clear picture. So we can see that this level here, on the shorter term, from the shorter term perspective, the 130.80 acted as a very nice area of support, and also it coincided with the 21 EMA as well, and we had a nice bounce and moved higher. And now, of course, all eyes are on this little level right here. The highs that we saw yesterday, and on Friday, of course, and that's around the 131.55 mark. So something like that, guys. A nice good break here above could open the path towards this higher level here that we're keeping an eye on, the 132.15. That was the low that we had here on the 16th, and if that doesn't hold, well, guess what? I mean, it's opening the path towards higher levels again, but certainly that could be the case. But bear in mind that around this 132.15, we do have the 200 EMA here approaching as well. So we can see that here in the past, on the 16th and on the 17th, it kind of got held nicely here, and from where the pair kind of reversed back down and moved lower. So something like this could be possible. Also, probably in line with this area, the 132.15, could come a nice downwards moving resistance line here if we draw it this way. So something also to keep in mind, guys. So keep in mind this this downside resistance line here that's running here from the peak of the 9th of July, and certainly if we get, like I said, if we get a nice, in the shorter term perspective, I mean, we get a nice break here above the 130, 155. It opens the path towards this level that I was just talking about, the 132.15. But this is where the rate could get stalled a little bit initially, and yep, the big battle between the bears and the bulls could start over the fate of GBPUSD. So if the bulls win, I mean, we get a nice break here, and yep, this is opening the path towards much higher levels than in that case. But if the bears kind of can take control here and, you know, drive this pair lower again, another break below the 131.55 from the upper side to the downside, we could actually initiate more selling. So something for you to keep an eye on. This, like I said, at the moment it's looking quite, let's say, more to the bearish, to the bullish side rather than the bearish. So keep an eye on this 130-155 zone. Let's quickly touch on another GBP pair, which is the GBPCAD. Now, similar stories here. Let's probably get rid of this line, and we can actually reuse it, and we can put a downside resistance line that's passing here starting from the peak of the 22nd of June, and it's now moving lower. And now we're seeing that the pair is testing this key area of resistance at around 72.90 mark. So keep an eye on it, guys. This is going to be probably very interesting if we get a nice break above this. So let me just put a 4-hour chart on this one, and this is how it's developing right now on the 4-hour chart. Let me just quickly adjust this downside resistance line. There we go. So something for you guys to keep an eye on, and we do have some good levels, especially this one right now, the 172.90. If the pair breaks it to the upside, well, keep an eye on this downside resistance line, because initially it could hold down the rate, I would say, but if this gets broken, and this is opening the path towards this level right here, towards this 174.50, which has been seen here on the 16th of last time seen around the 16th of July. So this could initially play out as a very nice area of resistance, and if that gets broken, well, it could open the path towards higher levels here, towards this 175.55. But for now, of course, all eyes are on this 172.90. Let's see if it holds, or if it manages to hold the rate from accelerating further. On the downside, well, we would need to see a nice break here below this level right here. Let me just quickly highlight it. And below this level, then we would probably become more comfortable with the downside scenario, and we could start aiming for the 170.55 zone. So something like this could be possible, but for now, of course, just judging by the way it's performing, it is looking more bullish than bearish, but we'll probably aim for slightly higher levels, of course, if we get a nice pop here above the 172.90. So all eyes are on that level. And the last one that I really wanted to show you and share with you, and that's NZDUSD. So NZDUSD, putting a daily chart here, we can see that we had a nice area of support here that has never reached. Again, of course, it has been reached here in the beginning in the first days of July, but later on, after all these drops, it kind of really never reached. So now it's kind of created a higher low. And now we can see this kind of pushing away today, kind of pushing away from this key area of support at around 0.6785. Now, recently it acted as a good resistance area. We broke it on Friday to the upside. Then on Monday we had a bit of a retracement back towards it, and now we're getting another bounce off of it. And certainly the question here is this going to have enough steam to push higher or not? And certainly putting a 4-hour chart here, for us to become more, let's say, more to the bullish side on this one, we would need to see not only a nice break above this level right here, above the 0.6835, but also above the 0.6850 mark. Now this one higher a little bit, so keep an eye on the zone, guys. A nice pop here above could open the path towards this level right here around 0.6920. So a potential trade here probably could be something seen as something like this, where you could eventually enter on a pop here above this 0.6850 mark, slightly just above that, and then of course target the level right here, this 0.6920. Well, of course, don't forget your stop loss. I mean, and with the stop loss, well, it's whatever you're comfortable with, guys. Certainly do your calculations, and certainly, you know, you decide on that. And just because, like I said, one idea could be maybe putting your stop loss somewhere around here, around 68 100 level. Still, it gives us a nice risk reward ratio as well. So I mean, something like this, this is just a potential trade idea, could eventually work out, and it could potentially work out if we get a nice pop here through this line that I was talking about. But to be honest, like I said, you'll be the judge and you do whatever you're comfortable with. Okay guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso at 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, I hope you have a good US session for those who are trading the US session. And for those who have finished for today, have a nice evening. Bye-bye.